Hey you! Yeah, you. Do you like leather fragrances? Are you maybe in search of the best leather fragrance in town? Well, lucky for you, your boy Timmy here have found one of the most amazing leather fragrance ever, and I, along with a very special guest, Mr. Oz, we're gonna be sharing our thoughts on it with you guys today. Stay tuned. Today, as you read from the title, is a review of one of the best leather fragrance in my personal opinion, and this one is called Black No.1 by the House of Matriarch. Now, I've been wearing this gem for a while now, and I gotta say it's truly incredible. But before I give my full thoughts on it, I'm gonna pass it on to our honored guest, Mr. Oz. Take it away.
Thank you, Timmy, for having me on your channel. I'm excited to review Black No.1 by House of Matriarch, one of my favorite houses out there. What do I get out of it? So I get two distinct phases. So the first phase, for the first 2 hours, what I get is a beautiful, fresh, almost marine-like coniferous accord. The coniferous accord is coming from the pine and the fir, giving me this slight dark green accord. And then the fresh, clean, almost marine-like accord is actually coming from the seaweed accord. The grassiness that is usually attributed to seaweed is actually reinforcing that coniferous feel. So for the first 2 hours, you're going to get a beautiful, clean, fresh, slightly marine coniferous accord. Towards the end of the first 2 hours, you get an oud note that shows up. The oud here is not skanky, it's not barnyard-like. It's an oud that shows more of a leathery facet, a subtle black leathery accord. Now the marine accord is going to be gone by the second hour, and then you're going to still get a toned down coniferous feel coming from the pine and the fir running throughout the composition of the fragrance. So after the first 2 hours, you're going to get this beautiful subtle black leather accord, and in the background you're going to get this complex slightly dark green accord or coniferous feel coming from the pine and the fir. Just makes for a beautiful subtle black leather, really wearable and enjoyable. Now, for people who love their leather bold and daring, something along the lines of Joel leather oud, I would say this one would not do it. Joel leather oud, I tried that. The leather is really amped up with animalic notes coming from, I think, the civet and the castoreum. It was too harsh for me and too daring. This, on the other hand, is something that I can easily wear at a formal event. I've been wearing this to the office. Not a boring fragrance, complex but yet not overpowering in the workplace. So this has been working great for me. Now, transitioning to performance, I would say I get 5 hours. Protection and sillage is average as well, but then that's what makes this one perfect for me. Allows me to enjoy a complex fragrance in office setting, formal events without feeling overpowering or without feeling too daring. Now, on days where I want to feel more daring, I want to amp up the leathery accord, I'm using a chung oud, which I think is the type of oud that is being used in Black No.1, but in less concentration. A chung oud here has more of that dusty black leather accord with more of a woody accord, and then a slight more animalic vibe coming from this. So I just dab this on two pulse points, and I just layer it with Black No.1. I get a more amped up leather accord and a slightly more animalic vibe coming from it, and then again with those coniferous notes in the background. It's just beautiful. So rating for Black No.1, take into account the pricing structure, how natural smelling this is, how it makes me feel, how versatile it is. I'll easily give this an 8.5 out of 10. I know a lot of people are gonna say 300 for this fragrance, that's a lot, for 50 ml is a lot. But then if you look closely at her pricing structure or her reward system, which is a stepwise discount that you get, these can be had for less than 300, which is a great deal for the quality that you get. I think you can easily get up to 50% off depending on how much you spend. So great house, great pricing scheme there, and then a reward structure. So I'm excited to see what Timmy thinks of this one. Again, thank you, Timmy, for having me on your channel.
Thank you, Mr. Oz, for the amazing review. A link to his channel is down in the description below. He's a really amazing gentleman with a talent for breaking down fragrances. So head over to his channel, subscribe to him, and make sure to tell him Timmy sent some love. Now for my thoughts on Black No. 1. This is probably one of the most complex fragrances that I've personally ever smelled. It's sexy, there's so much going on, and it's pure quality. The black leather vibe that I get from this fragrance makes me feel very mysterious and dark, but in the most inviting way possible. If you smelled this fragrance before, you know what I mean. It's like it has this air of mysteriousness about it that once you smell it, sparks a certain curiosity within yourself to make you want to explore this fragrance even more. And that's what gives this fragrance this dark and sexy edge. Alongside of black leather, you're gonna get a bunch of little nuances, ranging from salty sea notes to fresh green pine to dark woods, just to name a few, and they all kind of serve to dress up the black leather theme. But the most amazing thing about this fragrance is, with such a wide range of notes, 300 notes to be exact, it really doesn't smell like a mess. In fact, the notes work so well together that it makes this fragrance, besides smelling sexy, also smells incredibly beautiful. One thing to note, this is more of an artistic fragrance than your typical designer fragrances out there, so some people might not like this. So my recommendation is definitely test before you buy. On the versatility, I'm gonna keep this very simple. This is one of the most versatile artistic fragrance that I own. Anytime, anywhere. The only time that this might not work is in two conditions: is in the club and if it's way too hot outside. In the club, it's just not loud enough, and the smell, the texture of this fragrance is maybe a little bit too thick for the hotter days. Performance, like I mentioned, is not a loud fragrance. It's definitely more personal, but it does last quite a good amount of time. On my skin, I get around 6 to 7 hours, which is not bad. And for projection, it's about 1 or 2 hours of like moderate, kind of modest projection. I know it's not the best performer, but in this case, for the theme of this fragrance, which is mysterious and dark and inviting, I think it fits the theme that is more in your personal bubble, because you really don't want a mysterious fragrance to shout like 1 million, you know? That would not really fit the theme. Price point, Mr. Oz kind of already touched on this, but to me, is it worth it? Absolutely yes. I love this fragrance, but it's not a must-have for the majority of you out there. Being realistic, this fragrance is more geared towards the fragrance connoisseur, the collector, those type of people who have a passion for fragrances, a passion for discovering unique fragrances, and you know, just overall love the art of fragrances altogether. But for you people who are looking for fragrances that will get you compliments or just to smell nice, this might be too high of a price tag and might not be worth it for what you're looking for. So I understand that. I'm being realistic. If you're one of those people, this is not for you. But if you're a fragrance connoisseur, you're into art of fragrances, you're into unique fragrances, definitely check this one out. It is gorgeous. This is one of the most unique fragrances that I own as well. You cannot go wrong. So definitely worth it if you're into those type of fragrances. Anyway, that's it for this video, guys. Make sure to leave your thoughts on this video and this fragrance in the comment section below if you tried already, and don't forget to check out Mr. Oz's channel. Link still below. Give him some love. And as always, guys, stay safe, test before you buy, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.